Good afternoon, Colin here with Techout, and today we're going to be once again talking about Beeper. I know I've been talking about this a lot lately, but it has been a pretty popular subject, especially with their newest update. Everybody on X is just going crazy about how they just need to give it up, how it's not going to work, all this kind of stuff. So we've got my OnePlus Open here, and I am using Beeper Mini on my OnePlus Open, and I've been using it since yesterday with no issue. And then I have my Galaxy Z Flip 5 here, which I did not set up Beeper since the fix has been released. So this is what you have to do now, and I have this here for a demonstration on showing you guys what the new setup process is like. As you can see here, it is asking for an iMessage registration code, and this registration code comes from a Mac or a jailbroken iPhone. A lot of outlets out there and a lot of people on X are reporting that the only way you can use Beeper now is that or not saying the only way you can use Beeper, but they're only telling you about the jailbroken iPhone portion, which is simply not true. You can also get this registration code on a Mac running the Beeper Cloud application. If you are still on the wait list for Beeper Cloud and you are using Beeper Mini, you can still get this registration code from the Beeper website. They do have a download where you can download an application that will give you this registration code that you need. And you input this registration code into the Beeper Mini application and then sign in with your Apple ID as normal, and the application will work. Like I said, I have been using it here on my OnePlus Open. I'm not going to open it right now, open the app because it does have chats in there and phone numbers and iMessage addresses and stuff like that. So just for other people's privacy, we're not going to open that. But this is what the application looks like right here when you go to set it up for the first time. And like I said, you can do this on the Beeper Cloud Mac app, or you can do it on the specific app that they have made to generate this registration code or to get this registration code. You can also use a jailbroken iPhone, as I said here. Now that iPhone will need to remain on and connected to a Wi-Fi network for periodic registration. Which if you just have an old iPhone sitting around, maybe you switch to Android, maybe you have an Android as a second phone, you can do that very easily. Just leave that phone connected to Wi-Fi and it will continue to update that registration code as needed. Beeper is going to be offering, they're going to be selling old iPhones that are pre-jailbroken with the needed application for between $30 and $50, I believe, in 2024 if they get enough interest for that. They will also be renting them so you can pay a lower monthly price. I don't believe they actually ship you the phone. I think it's something that they keep, but they keep it running and keep that application running for you, over on their end, so you can keep your registration code up to date for your account. So those are some of the few ways that you can update the Beeper application now and Beeper Mini and get Beeper Cloud and Beeper Mini working again with iMessage. Of course, Beeper Cloud does work with all the other services still without having to do anything extra. X, Instagram, all those other services that you can message with on there. Beeper Cloud is still a great application for that because it does integrate all those services very well. So Beeper is not just for iMessage, but Beeper Mini here is the application that is just kind of the stripped down version for iMessage only. And that's what I use on my Android devices because I like to be able to tie in my chats between my Mac and my iPhone and my Android devices. It keeps it all in one place. So I'm not using Beeper for the blue bubbles or anything like that. I'm not using Beeper to make it look like I have iMessage because I actually do have iMessage. But it just ties all my chats in and makes them seamless and sync between my devices, whether they're iOS, Mac, or Android. So that is that. Hopefully this stays working a little longer than the previous methods that they had. Beeper did say that this isn't really sustainable anymore, and that if this method is killed by Apple, that's it. They're not going to be continually going back and forth with this cat and mouse game and fixing this. So once this is done, if this gets killed off by Apple, I don't think we're going to be seeing a fix for iMessage. Of course, Beeper Cloud will still be out there for those other services, like I said, but the iMessage portion of it and Beeper Mini will be no longer. So hopefully Apple can just kind of, settle down and let this exist the way they have it now, since you do need a Mac and you do need that registration code. I don't really see it being a spam or a safety or a security issue because you do need that registration code. Now you can share your registration code. Beeper said this works with about 10 to 20 people. It's kind of the safe range. So if you have a friend with a Mac, they can download Beeper Cloud on there. They can get a registration code, and you can use that registration code because the registration code is not tied to your specific account. It just shows that there is a Mac available for iMessage registration. So that can be shared, that can be used with a few different people. And hopefully that, we're using a bunch of different registration codes now. Apple won't necessarily be just killing them off completely like they have in the past. But like I said, this is the last attempt, at least that's what Beeper says right now, that they are not going to be going back and forth with this any longer. So as of right now, Beeper Cloud and Beeper Mini are back up and running for iMessage. Phone number registration does work if you use the jailbreak method, but if you use any of the other methods, you still do have to use an email, or you already have to have the phone number tied to the iMessage account, which I've gone over in previous videos how I do that by just having a eSIM on my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and then I transfer the service from the eSIM. It's right now transferred to this phone, but I don't delete the eSIM from my iPhone. So while the eSIM is still on the iPhone, it just doesn't have active service on it, but the phone number still stays tied to the Apple ID and iMessage. So that is how I have that working. I am Colin with Techout. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And as always, have a great day.